Hey, sports. You remember sports, right? Those activities where you actually get off your ass and do something physical. You can think anything you want about the athletes, but the sports themselves are pretty great. Unfortunately, people ruin everything. They always need something to complain about, and that's why the biggest moment of a young man's football career was ruined by the cancer that are people on Twitter. Because the woke Gestapo on that site can't handle patriotism and hate context. Hey everybody, there hasn't really been much sports to talk about while everything's been shut down, but thank you for joining me on another edition of Out of Left Field. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangatis. Former Marshall University place kicker Justin Rohrwasser was the 8th ranked kicker going into last week's NFL draft, according to CBS. But he was the first one taken when the New England Patriots took him in the 5th round, replacing veteran and 3-time Super Bowl champion Stephen Gostkowski. You'd think that would be the greatest moment of Rohrwasser's career. And it was, but not for long. The Twitterverse, or as I currently like to call them, the social media parasites, apparently noticed a tattoo on Rohrwasser's left forearm of a Roman numeral 3 surrounded by stars. The symbol stands for a term called a 3%er. Those on Twitter who called this kid out basically called him a member of a group called the 3%ers, a group that the Twitterati and the media call, quote, anti-government and, quote, a far-right group. I'm not endorsing this group, but I want to give you all a little information for context. You know, that thing the media purposefully never gives you. According to the 3%ers website, they claim that they, quote, are not anti-government. In fact, we are very pro-government so long as the government abides by the Constitution, doesn't overstep its bounds, and remains for the people and by the people, unquote. The group also claims that, quote, we do not seek to incite a revolution. However, we will defend ourselves when necessary. We are not here to create violence. Violence should always be a last resort, and even then should only be defensive in nature, unquote. So now that you know that, what was Rohrwasser's response? Well, he was interviewed by CBS Boston's Steve Burton, who the Los Angeles Times pointed out is African American, as a qualifier so that you know Rohrwasser was properly confronted in an identity-based way. Watching this interview, I really felt bad for this kid. Rohrwasser was basically reduced to tears by the end of it for something that he clearly meant no ill will by. He's just a patriotic guy since he claims his family is a military family, and also he has an American flag, don't tread on me, and liberty or death tattoos on his body as well. Here's what he told Burton he thought the 3%er symbol meant.
It is described to me as, you know, the percentage of colonists that rose up against the authoritarian government of the British. And I was, wow, that's such a, you know, American sentiment, a patriotic sentiment. And coming from a military family, I thought that really spoke for me, and I always was proud to be an American. I'm very proud.
So you would think that with a little bit of context that people would lay off him, especially since he initially said he would cover up the tattoo. But Rohrwasser has been bullied so much by those on social media who love to crap on anyone more successful and harder working than them, which is pretty much most of Twitter, that even though he said he would cover the tattoo up as to not offend anyone, he's taking it one step further and getting it removed completely. Here's how the interview ended.
I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to take ownership of it. And, you know, this is not who I am. Show that no matter what, that's not who I am. And hopefully you'll all find that out.
And then, as if Burton, simply because he's black, is an authority on race relations, he ended the segment like this.
I did not find him to be a racist whatsoever. I found him to be very authentic and very apologetic. This kid deserves a chance.
Now, Burton himself probably meant no ill will by what he said at the end there, but I'm sorry. Rohrwasser doesn't need his validation in order to continue his career. Oh, a local news reporter thinks that someone's not racist, so this kid can go on living his life? Give me a break. Here's the insane part of the whole situation. Rohrwasser has had the tattoo since he was 18, for 5 years now. And this was never brought up once when he was in college. But once he received a little notoriety, once he received some success, people with no lives on social media had to bring him down. Why? They're woke. Which means if you're more successful than they are, which isn't difficult to do, they will find something so that they can claim that a person receiving success or some sort of accolade is oppressing them or someone else. They shamed him into an apology that wasn't needed or deserved by the people calling him out. These social media parasites are professional victims and merchants of outrage, all because they're losers. That's right. They're losers. If you are on social media all day and it's not for a job or because you're retired, you're a loser. This kid did nothing to any of these people. Nothing. But because he's going somewhere with his life, the woke have felt they need to virtue signal all over the place because they have nothing better to do with their lives. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If I wasn't in the profession that I'm in and had to use social media for what I do, you all would never even know my name. I'd be a ghost. Justin Rohrwasser needs to move on from this and just enjoy his career and all that comes with it, because on average, it doesn't last long. Don't listen to the haters, because that's all they know while pretending they care. That's it for this week, folks. We might be getting baseball back in the next month or so. What do you think about that? Are you excited that a sport might be returning? Or are you content being bored in your house? Let me know in the comments. I enjoy talking to rational people, so I'll respond every now and then. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kingadis.